welcome to my channel Made by Cath Craft. Thank you so much for joining me today for another one of my 5 favourite sewing patterns vlogs. So I've been doing a series of 5 favourite sewing patterns vlogs and I've really enjoyed having a think about them, and so far I've done jersey dresses, woven dresses for autumn winter, skirts and sweatshirts, and I'll include links to all of those vlogs down below in case you fancy checking any of them out. And so today I'm going to be talking all about my 5 favourite sewing patterns for loungewear, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Loungewear at the moment I think is all the more important with COVID and everyone having to stay home a lot more, so I think everyone's been reaching for their loungewear even more than usual. But I'm a big fan of loungewear anyway. Even before COVID I always really enjoyed getting home for my day and then for the evening changing into some really snuggly loungewear and just feeling really comfortable for the evening, so I could do some crafting on the sofa or some sewing, but yeah, feeling really comfortable. That's what loungewear is all about, I think. So I'm really looking forward to sharing my 5 favourite patterns with you, and I hope they'll kind of create almost like a capsule loungewear wardrobe that will work for all seasons. I think that's how they work for me at least. But anyway, before I get on to my 5 favourite loungewear sewing patterns, I thought I'd share with you what I'm wearing today. Today it's a very grey, rainy day here in the southeast of England, but it's not too cold. And I'm wearing an Agnes top by Tilly and the Buttons. There's this pattern here. It's quite a basic jersey top with a scoop neckline. You can make a sort of ruched sleeve or a ruched front, but I've just gone for this very simple silhouette here. And I made mine in this lovely jersey. It's quite old now, this top, but the jersey's washed really well and it's got little grey hearts all over it. So it's quite sweet, but it's really comfy, kind of relaxed top. And I'm wearing it with a Nielsen Brumby skirt. I'll just show you a little bit of that. Got these amazing big pockets. Yeah, it's denim with top stitching. It's a lovely skirt. It's my favourite denim skirt and I wear it a lot, and I'll show you the pattern for that one too. This skirt here, so mine's very similar to the model's version in the picture, and it's this version here with a fitted waistband. It's got an exposed zip at the back, which is a nice detail, and then it's just kind of a really lovely denim skirt that's gathered with really big pockets. And I'll show you the zip at the waistband as well, just in case you're interested. That's how it looks there. So I think that's a really nice feature. But that's what I'm wearing today, and let me move on to my 5 favourite loungewear sewing patterns. My first favourite loungewear sewing pattern is a pattern for jogging bottoms, and it's this pattern here, the Hudson pants by True Bias. It's a fantastic pattern, it's super comfy, and I've made several versions of this. This is the women's pattern I've got here, but True Bias also do a men's version, which I've made for my husband, and they also do a kids version, which is for ages 2 to 10. So you could kind of make these for your whole family with them if you had the 3 different patterns. So they're lovely relaxed jogging bottoms. They've got a few nice features. They've got a lovely pocket detail here, so you can have a little play with colour by mixing and matching. Elasticated waist, and you can add a tie. And then cuffs at the bottom. The women's version, the cuffs are quite long, quite big cuffs, which is a nice detail. You can see the model on the front, it's got the kind of fairly large cuffs. And they also have a cropped version as well, so I guess that'll be good for slightly warmer weather. And the men's version is quite similar, but it's a little bit different in shape. It doesn't hug the leg as much. The women's version is quite a fitted leg. The men's version is a little bit looser in the leg. The crotch design is slightly different, and the cuffs are slightly shorter, less of a feature. So it is definitely worth investing in both patterns if you plan to make for yourself and also for a man, because there are a few variations. But let me show you some of my versions of the Hudson pants. They work great in a whole range of stretch fabrics. The first pair I made was a pair in loopback jersey, and it's fairly lightweight loopback jersey. And I made them in quite a jolly, fun colour. And it's this pair here. So yeah, it's a kind of loopback jersey, French terry, fairly lightweight. You can see the kind of loop back there. And this lovely floral fabric. And then I added on a little detail for the pocket detail and the cuffs by adding on this pink cuffing, and I added the waist tie as well, and you kind of sew buttonholes here for the waist tie, and it's got an elasticated waist. I'll put a picture of me wearing them. They were just designed to be a bit of fun, and they're perfect for kind of not too cold weather because they're not super thick. They're really comfy. One thing I would mention with the Hudson pants is the cuffs do come up quite tight. So when you're using ribbing fabric, that's pretty stretchy and works quite well. But if you're using a slightly thicker, less stretchy fabric, say the fabric you're using for the rest of the pants, it might be worth considering making the ankle cuffs slightly wider, just so they aren't too tricky to get on and off and don't feel too tight when they're on. The Hudson pants is a really easy to follow and fairly straightforward sewing pattern. So it's a great beginner sewing pattern if you're fairly new to sewing with knits. I think True Bias give it a 2 out of 5 difficulty rating. And it's also can be sewn pretty much all in your overlocker, so that's really handy too. I made a size 2, which is a waist of 27 inches and a hips of 35 inches. Now I'm waist 26 and hips 36, so I kind of fell slightly below on the waist and slightly above size 2 on the hips. And it is a fairly snug fit, but I quite like them like that. But if you wanted a slightly looser fit to these joggers, you might want to size up a little bit. The sizes go from size 0 to size 18. Size 0 is waist so 26, hips 34, up to size 18, which is waist 38.5 inches and hips 46.5. And they recommend fabrics including cotton lycra, French terry, sweatshirt knit, with a suggested stretch of approximately 25%. So if you were on their lower end of the stretch scale, as I said, I'd recommend using a different fabric for the cuffs, like a ribbing, or sizing them up slightly. But they are a nice straightforward sew and just great to knit fabric. And I'll show you a few more of my pairs. I made another fairly lightweight pair in another French terry sort of loop back jersey fabric, and I made this just fairly plain pair to go with my brighter tops in this navy fabric which I got from Minerva. For this pair, the True Bias pattern recommends you sew a buttonhole for the to add in the cording, but I actually used my Prim Vario pliers and added eyelets here, which I think actually work better and give a more sort of professional sort of finish. These are my pliers here. I love them, and they make applying eyelets really easy. So if you don't have a pair, I'd recommend them if you do want to make that job easier, and they're great for applying like jeans buttons and all sorts of things like that too, and poppers. But as I said, I used a eyelets here and it's got some cording, but actually the whole tie and the cording and the eyelets are all purely aesthetic. They don't actually perform any purpose because the pants are held up by the elastic top. So you don't really need to add this bit in at all. I think it's just to make it look a little bit more, give them more of a shop bought look. But you could keep them really simple and just remove this bit and keep them as plain standard joggers. But that was my second pair, just a plain navy pair. The next pair of Hudson pants I had a little bit of fun with, and I made them in this lovely red stretch velour. And I was gifted this fabric from Minerva in exchange for a blog post, and I'll put the a link to the blog post down below in case you'd like to read a little bit more about how I found the making of these joggers. But they're in this lovely snuggly red velour, so they're really thick and cosy, this pair. It's got a good amount of stretch to it, and it's got a high cotton percentage too, so they're really breathable and comfy. The only thing I found is it's not as stretchy as a French terry or a jersey. I added a ribbing detail. This is a ribbing for the pockets, just to sort of add a little nice detail. And I originally used this ribbing for the cuffs at the bottom, but I didn't exactly think it looked right, so I exchanged the cuffs for actually the velour. And these are on the tighter side. They're fine when they're on, but they are a bit more tricky to get on because they have got a lower stretch percentage. So that's just, yeah, thought I'd mention that. But they're really snuggly. And they're so cosy for an evening in this red velour. And then I also made a pair actually to wear as sleepwear, because I thought I'd quite fancied a pair of jersey pyjamas. So I made a pair with a matching top, and I'll put pictures of all my makes here so you can see how they look like on. So this is my sleepwear pair made in this lovely Tilly and the Buttons fabric. It's a very lightweight cotton jersey rather than a French terry, so I thought it would be good for pyjamas. It's again got a nice cute cuff detail. I had this left over from another make. And the Hudson pants has quite a thick waistband. I'll show you on this version. It's quite a sturdy, thick piece of elastic on the waistband. And I originally added that sort of waistband to this pair in this lightweight cotton jersey. But I found the elastic was a bit too rigid and not so comfortable for sleeping. So I exchanged it for a thinner, softer elastic just for my bedtime pair. And I find that works a lot better for this pair. But you still have the nice details of the pockets. And then I've got the little cuffs on there too, which I made a bit wider for sleepwear as well to make them a bit more comfy on my leg. And then I made my husband a pair of Hudson pants too, using the men's pattern. And this is here his pair, which I made using a fairly lightweight French terry because he gets hot quite easily. And so yeah, that's just the men's pair, and I'll put a picture up of him wearing them so you can see the slight difference in the shape. They are a bit looser fit for men. Again, I used my Prim Verrio pliers and added eyelets there because he quite liked the look of those. They've got nice, decent sized pockets, so perfect for popping in a phone or something like that. But yeah, those are a few of my versions. I've got one more version to show you, but that's part of a loungewear set, which I'll show you in a moment. I've also actually used the men's pair to make a couple of pairs of Hudson pants for my mum because she prefers a looser fit, and for her she actually asked me to lengthen the crotch as well to make them high rise, and I made those alterations myself using the pattern piece and just giving it a go. But actually recently True Bias have published a blog post talking all about how you can adapt the Hudson pants to make them a higher rise, kind of high-waisted Hudson pants, as that's kind of where trends are going. And I'll include a link to that post in case you fancy making a pair but didn't fancy the low-waisted and wanted to make them a bit higher. It takes you through step by step how to alter the pattern to give you a higher rise look, which I think is quite cool, that this pattern's got an extra variation now because of that blog post. So that's the True Bias Hudson pants pattern. It's a perfect garment for your capsule loungewear wardrobe. I wear my pairs all the time. They're so comfy, they fit really nicely, and they're a quite speedy, satisfying sew to boot, so I'd really recommend them. They don't take too much fabric either. I think for my size, for the full length, they only take up 1.5 meters, and you can squeeze the shorter length out of 1 and 1.3 meters, so they don't use a great deal of fabric. I guess you might need to bear in mind if you're using a directional print whether you might need a bit extra, but yeah, it's a great pattern. I thought I'd mention as a good alternative to the True Bias Hudson pants, if you haven't got that pattern and want to make some joggers, there's also a great joggers pattern in the stretch book by Tilly and the Buttons, which I have. I haven't actually made this pattern because I love the Hudson pants and I like all the details, but the Stellan hoodie and joggers comes with this joggers pattern here. So yeah, I'll show you the line drawing. It's a fairly similar silhouette to the Hudson pants. I think the difference are they don't have a pocket detail. I think it's a slightly looser fit on the leg and a slightly smaller cuff. But essentially it's kind of a very similar overall shape, but you can adapt a little bit. So if you happen to have the stretch book, you could always give that pattern a go as an alternative pattern for jogging bottoms. To go with my favourite jogging bottoms pattern, I thought I had to pick a favourite sweatshirt pattern for my loungewear capsule wardrobe. And this has to be my favourite and relaxed sewing pattern for a sweatshirt to wear at home, and it's the Jarrah sweatshirt by Nielsen. It's such a great relaxed fit sweatshirt, so it's not too tight, so perfect for lounging at home, and it comes in lots of different options. I'll show you them on the back. It's got a drop shoulder, each option has a drop shoulder. You can make a funnel neck top, which might be super cosy for at home. You can make a split hem with sort of a dropped hem. You can make a tie waist one or just a very simple basic sweatshirt pattern too. So there are loads of great options for this pattern. And as I said, it's oversized. I make the size 0, which is bust 32, waist 24, hips 34. And my waist is 26 and my hips are 36, but there's still plenty of room. And I'll show you some pictures of me wearing my version so you can see how it does fit on me. But yeah, it's a really straightforward sweater pattern. You can make it mostly on your overlocker. I guess there are a few details you might not be able to do on your overlocker, like top stitching around the neckband if you wanted to hold the neckband in place, or for the this hem here with the ties, you need a sewing machine there for doing that hem. But if you made this basic version here, you could pretty much do most of it on your overlocker. It goes up to size 20, so it's from size 0, which is bust 32, waist 24, hips 34, up to size 20, which is bust 46, waist 38, hips 48. And I'll show you a few of my versions. I love it, it's such a comfy pattern. So I made a couple of tie-waisted versions, which I think are a little bit more fancy for wearing out, but still you could easily wear them at home. And this is my first version, this lovely reverse French terry. So the French terry loop back texture is on the outside of the garment, which I really like that detail. That's my first version, and I'll put a picture up of me wearing that one. And I think that would look great with my navy Hudson pants too. I've made another version of the tie one in this lovely Silhouette 6 French terry. Again, it's got that sort of loop back texture. This is gorgeous soft fabric, yeah, this has got the tie waist detail here. I meant to mention on this version actually, for this fabric here, it's got a white background, which I didn't want to be visible on the tie when you tied it up. So I added a little facing to the back of the tie and all around the bottom, just so that, yeah, you can't see the whiteness when you do it as a tie, which works really well on a lightweight fabric like this, but might not work so well on a really thick, bulky fabric. It may make the tie a little bit too bulky to tie up. But that's just a little adjustment I made to the pattern. I then made a couple of just perfect loungewear versions in the basic sweatshirt style. So it's got the drop shoulder, and again I'll put a picture up here of me wearing it, with the cuffs, and then just a basic bottom band too. I love this version. It's made in a really, really soft fleecy sweatshirt fabric, so it's perfect for a cooler winter evening. And then more recently I made this last version in this kind of icy blue coloured, again, a fleece back sweatshirt with a really high cotton content. I'd made this one, which I'll put up there, to replicate one of my ready to wear tops, which I love. And it's just such a relaxed, easy to wear jumper. I've got loads of wear out of this since the weather turned colder. So the Jarrah sweater is a really versatile sweatshirt pattern. It's got so many different looks. You could have a whole range of loungewear that each look really different with the different variations. So I think it's a great pattern, and it works really well in different jersey fabrics too. The kind of standard sweatshirt and the one with the higher neckband would be great in like a thicker sweatshirt fleece fabric, and then the one with the tie waist is great in a lighter weight like a French terry or a cotton jersey. And you could even adapt the pattern to make it short sleeved and then omit the bottom band. If you wanted to make a t-shirt version of it with the drop shoulder, I think that would look really nice too and be perfect for chilling at home. I think the Nielsen Jarrah sweater and the Hudson pants are a perfect pairing, and I've actually made one matching loungewear set using those two patterns, which I thought I'd show you too. And I made it using this lovely French terry, which I got from Maker's Merchant. It's got this lovely, bright, bold leopard print design and lots of different colours on it. And I made a cropped version of the Jarrah sweater for this. And just by making the standard sweater version a little bit shorter, and I brought it in slightly to make it slightly less oversized because it stopped a bit higher. And then I also made the Hudson pants in this fabric too. I had a little black detail here, which I've mirrored on the cuffs for the top. I'll put a picture up so you can see me wearing them. And it's a really cute loungewear set, and it always cheers me up when I put this one on because it's so bright and jolly. And so I really like that set, and I think it looks great. Those two patterns go really well together. But I thought I'd mention one other pattern that's a great alternative to the Jarrah as another sweatshirt for loungewear, and it's this one here. It's the Linden sweatshirt by Grainline Studio. And again, this one has a t-shirt version as well as a sweatshirt version. And it's a bit different in style to the Jarrah, mainly in that it's a raglan style. So a slightly different way of inserting the sleeves. It's another great pattern. I've made a couple of versions of this. And again, it's just a perfect relaxed sweatshirt to wear at home. And I'll include a couple of pictures of the Linden sweatshirts I've made too, so you can see how they look. It's another great relaxed sweatshirt, perfect for loungewear, for lounging at home, but also great to wear with a pair of jeans out and about too, just like the Jarrah. The next garment I knew I needed in my kind of capsule loungewear sewing pattern set was a t-shirt pattern. And I chose a free t-shirt pattern actually as my favourite t-shirt pattern for loungewear. And it's this pattern here. It's the Stellan tee by French Navy, and I think the fact it's free makes it extra good. So it's basically quite a boxy t-shirt with a slightly drop shoulder. You can add a little cuff here, but it's just quite a straightforward relaxed t-shirt shape, and I think that's perfect for loungewear. I made a couple of versions of this. I made one version of viscose jersey, which is really lovely and drapey. I'll show you that. This is the Lady McElroy viscose crepe jersey, and it's lovely and relaxed and really comfy, and added a little cuff there, turned up the fabric. I've also made a second version of the Stellan tee in a cotton jersey, and this is the version here. It works really well in a cotton jersey as well as a viscose jersey. And this is fabric I had left over from another project. I had just enough to squeeze out this t-shirt, and it's really cute. It's got stripes on, and there's little cats peeking out from underneath little blankets of the stripes. And so that's really nice. I added cuffs on this one too, but you don't need to. And one little finishing detail the pattern has details on, which I think is quite nice, is it shows you how to add a little jersey piece here to give it a bit more of a professional finish at the back of the neckband, like you might have on a shopboard garment, so that you can't see the finish or the kind of overlocking in the seam of the neckbands hidden there. I think that's really nice that the free pattern gives you that extra detail. But it's just a really relaxed fit. I'll put that one up here as you can see it. It doesn't need too much fabric either. It requires only 90 centimetres of fabric that's 150 centimetres wide, so I think that's a really it's great for scrap busting, or just if you have a small piece of fabric that you're not sure what to do with. And the size wise, it comes in comes from a UK size 6, which is bust 32, waist 24, hips 34, up to a UK size 18, which is bust 42, waist 35, hips 44. But it's a boxy shape, it's a relaxed fit, so I made the size 6, the smallest size, and my waist and hips are slightly bigger than that size, but it fits me just well. So that's the Stellan tee by French Navy, a great free pattern with a really relaxed fit. It's a lovely just basic t-shirt, perfect for a capsule loungewear wardrobe. I actually have a few old ready-to-wear t-shirts that are still going strong. So I haven't made too many of these Stellan tees yet, but as my old ready-to-wear ones start to wear out, I'll definitely be reaching for this pattern again. As with the joggers and the sweatshirt, I thought I'd mention one alternative pattern that's a good alternative to the Stellan tee as a t-shirt pattern, and that's this pattern here, which is the Kyoto tee, I need to get it right, the pronunciation, by Paper Cut Patterns. So it's actually a sweater and t-shirt pattern. I'll show you it here. A basic kind of boxy sweatshirt and t-shirt with a lovely ruffle detail. And so the ruffle will be great for loungewear too and make it a little bit more fancy. Again, it's designed just for a lightweight cotton jersey or bamboo jersey or viscose jersey, anything that's fairly lightweight with a medium stretch. But you could actually just omit the ruffle if you wanted a really basic plain tee. It's a lovely pattern, so it's definitely worth getting for the ruffle. But as I said, it'll be great as a basic t-shirt for loungewear with or without the ruffle. So that's another option for a loungewear t-shirt, the Kyoto t-shirt by Paper Cut Patterns. And I'll put a picture up of me wearing my version of the t-shirt that I've made in case you're interested. I made that one in a bamboo jersey and it's lovely with that drape. And bamboo jersey I think would be a perfect fabric for loungewear too, because it's really breathable and so yeah, really comfy like that. But yeah, that's my other option for my favourite t-shirt sewing pattern for my loungewear capsule wardrobe. My next favourite pattern, the part of my capsule loungewear wardrobe, is one that works all year round for winter and summer, and it's actually a pyjama pattern, and it's this one here. It's the Jaimie Pyjama Bottoms and Shorts pattern by Tilly and the Buttons. And so it's a really basic pyjama pattern for woven fabrics. As you can see, you can make the long full version or the shorts version. And I think pyjamas are a perfect loungewear option, particularly in the summer. Pyjama shorts are what I reach for when I'm really hot in the evening. Just a really loose, light pair of pyjama shorts made out of a really lightweight cotton, I think is perfect. So yeah, the Jaimie pattern is just really straightforward. It comes in sizes 0 to 10. Size 0 being for waist 22 inches, hips 31 inches, up to size 10 being for waist 42 inches and hips 51 inches. And it's designed for light to medium weight woven fabrics like cotton lawn, quilting cotton, viscose if you wanted something really drapey, and I guess viscose would be a perfect fabric for summer for a really lightweight pair of pyjama shorts. It's a really easy sew, it's a beginner pattern, and yeah, I just think I can't wait to wear my pair that I've made in the summer. So I've made pairs for all different seasons. This is my summery pair, which I made in this lovely cotton lawn, which I got from Minerva, and I'll put a link down below if they have this fabric still. It's called Artistic Vibrance because it's got these paint splotches on. And yeah, I added on the waist tie at the front with the eyelets using my Primvario pliers, but again, like with the Hudson pants, you don't need to add these on. It's purely for aesthetics and also helps you find the front of your pyjama bottoms. So I can't wait to wear these in the summer, not only in bed but also just to relax on the evening when I'm feeling hot. One thing to mention on my pair of these, I'll put a picture of me wearing them so you can see, I actually lengthened the shorts slightly because they do come up very short. So these were lengthened by a couple of inches and they're still pretty short. So you may want to consider that if you don't want them super short. So that's my pair of pyjama bottoms, my summery version. And I've got a couple more pairs of those planned because I think I'll wear them a lot when it comes to summer. I also made a pair for kind of autumn in this lovely cotton lawn, again from Minerva, with this leaf print on. This is a really lightweight cotton lawn, so I think it'll be perfect for when the weather is a little bit cooler, but I don't need anything super duper cosy. And again, I added on the ties at the front. And it's quite it's the elastic's about 1 inch wide, so it's not super thick, so not too restrictive for wearing in bed. And then I also made a cosier pair in a cotton poplin for winter, which is this version here, this lovely constellation print. which I think is really pretty. This time I decided not to add on the ties, and instead I had a go of embroidery on my machine, and I embroidered on the back wording, just so I know which way around I can put them. And I'm wearing these at the moment in bed. They're really comfy and cosy. Cotton poplin's perfect for winter. And it's perfect for lounging on the sofa too, with a nice sweatshirt on. And I guess they'd also be great in like a brushed cotton to make them extra cosy, or you could even sew them in a fleece if you wanted some really, really cosy version. So that's my next pattern that I'd recommend for a capsule wardrobe, the Jaimie Pyjama bottoms. As I said, I think they work really well all year round. And I do have another alternative for pyjamas too, which is another pattern I've made quite a few times. And it's this one here, which is the Simplicity 1520A pattern. And this pattern is great because it has a version for women and men, and then for children too, so you could use this to make versions for your whole family. And this is the version I use for my husband. For me, I find the waist is a little bit high for my liking, so I prefer the fit of the Jaimie pyjamas around my waist. But my husband likes the fit of these, and I actually recently made him a pair and added in pockets as an extra adaptation so he can put his phone in, which he's really pleased with. So I'll put up a picture of him wearing his version here, and they were made in a cotton poplin from Minerva too, which I'll link down below. So that's the pattern that I'd recommend as an alternative, the Simplicity 1520A. That's my fourth favourite capsule loungewear wardrobe pattern. The final pattern I wanted to include in my capsule loungewear wardrobe was again a bit more of a summery one, but also could work for winter with layering, and it's a vest top pattern. And it's this one here. It's a fairly new pattern, new pattern designer to me, which is Allie Olson patterns, and it's the Kila tank. So it's a fairly straightforward vest top. It's got a slight racer back detail, as you can see from the line drawing, and then it's just a fairly straightforward vest top. It comes in sizes 0 to 18, with the smallest size having a full bust of 32 inches, waist of 26 and hips of 35, up to a full bust of 43.5 inches, waist 37.5 inches and hips 46.5 inches. It doesn't need a great deal of fabric, it only needs 1¼ yards of fabric for the largest size, so I think that's pretty good. And it's just a really nice basic tank with some lovely details. In particular, I love the way that kind of the neckline and around the arms uses almost like a binding approach to finish, which I think looks really lovely and really professional. And I'll show you my version. I've only made one version yet, but I've got more planned for when it gets to summer. I only bought this pattern, I think, towards the beginning of winter, so I wasn't in the mood for sewing lots of vest tops then, but I'll definitely be needing them as I get to summer. Here's my version. It's hard to see on the screen because it's so white, but it's in a white cotton jersey from Minerva, and it's got this lovely bias binding detail around the arms and the neck, which I think is really neat. And yeah, it's just a really basic vest top that I think I'll get loads of wear out of, just for keeping cool with a pair of pyjama bottoms when I'm chilling on the sofa in the summer. One thing to note about this pattern is it has a lot of negative ease built in. So I actually sized up. I think I sized up about 4 sizes, and even then, I'll put a picture up, you can see it's still fairly fitted on me. So it is designed to be quite close fitting. And I think this is designed to be sewn in really stretchy fabrics. It says the Kila tank should be sewn using knit fabrics with at least 60% stretch and good recovery. If using a knit fabric with less than 60% stretch, we recommend sizing up at least 1 size for a comfortable fit. I'm not sure my jersey does have a 60% stretch, so I'm glad I did size up. I guess if you were going for a rib fabric, you maybe wouldn't need to size up as much because it will be a little bit stretchier. But it's a lovely basic vest top pattern, and I'd really recommend it, and I'm sure I'm going to get loads of use out of it. And it's a great scrap buster too because it uses so little fabric. So I'd really recommend that one, the Kila Tank by Allie Olson Patterns. And as with the other patterns I've mentioned on this vlog, I wanted to give an alternative pattern to the Kila Tank for a vest top pattern for your capsule wardrobe. And this is a pattern I haven't made myself, but it's been recommended to me by a few people. When I talked about having made this top and used this pattern on an earlier vlog, a few people recommended as an alternative the Largo Tank by Itch to Stitch. And I'll put up a line drawing of that top so you can see. It has quite a similar shape. And as I said, it comes highly recommended. I haven't made it myself yet, but I'd like to give it a go and see how it compares to the Kila Tank. But it looks like another great option for a vest top to fit into your loungewear capsule wardrobe. So those are my 5 favourite loungewear sewing patterns. I think they work really well together, so you can mix and match them so they work through the seasons. They're all patterns I really love, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about them. I had to sneak in one more pattern at the end of this vlog, which doesn't exactly fit into my loungewear set, but is such a great loungewear option. And it's a dress. I do love a dress, and so I love sometimes to be able to lounge at home in a dress instead of a pair of joggers or pyjamas. So I thought I'd share this pattern too, and it's a Southbank sweater dress by Nina Lee, and this version here specifically. It really is the comfiest, cosiest dress you could wear. It's got a stand-up collar, really cosy arms, a nice long length, and it's perfect for lounging at home. As I said, if you want a break from the joggers and the sweatshirts and do want to wear something that feels a bit dressy but still equally comfy. It's designed to be made in a stable medium to heavyweight knit with up to 20% stretch, so Ponte Roma, interlock or sweatshirt fleece. So it's definitely designed to be cosy. And I'll show you my versions and I'll put pictures up too. The first version I made was this lovely Minor Maker organic chevron quilt fabric, which I got from Lamazi Fabrics, and I think they still have some of these colours in stock, and I'll link them down below if they do. It's really gorgeous and thick. I think it's mostly cotton, and then it also includes some recycled polyester, so it's fairly environmentally friendly. And I actually made this version extra long. I'll show you in the picture. So it's really snuggly for being at home with a thick pair of tights. It's got pockets too, so very practical for carting one's phone around the house. But it's a perfect sort of loungewear thing if you want to feel a little bit more dressy, but also be really comfy. And I also made a navy one in a sweatshirt fleece fabric, so you can see the fleecy back there, which is just as cosy, and I'll put a picture up of that one too. That one's a little bit more fitted and a little bit more cropped, but it's still really comfy for wearing around the house. So that was my sneaky extra pattern for my loungewear capsule wardrobe. If you want to add a dress into your loungewear capsule wardrobe, I'd really recommend the Southbank sweater dress by Nina Lee London. It's a really easy sew, and you can do it all on your overlocker because it has hem bands both on the actual dress and the cuffs. So I'd really recommend that was extra pattern. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing about my favourite loungewear patterns and the different versions I've made of them. They really are items I wear every day, and I really look forward to wearing them in the evenings when I do get into something comfy and cosy. And I love the fact that when you make them yourself, you can customise them so they're just perfect for you. For example, adding pockets to my husband's pyjama bottoms, or lengthening the Hudson pants to make them just the right length for your legs, and all those little details that make me make clothes so special. I really appreciate you watching, and maybe I've inspired you to have a think about making some of your own homemade loungewear. I'll include details to things I've talked about in my notes down below. If you have enjoyed this vlog, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, then please do subscribe and click the bell icon to hear more from me when I talk about my sewing patterns, fabric hauls, sewing plans, and more of my 5 favourites vlog series. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.